Governance characteristics. Bad governance is government which is not legitimate, competent, accountable, and does not respect human rights and the rule of law. It is a government which rules against the wishes of the people, e.g. dictatorship. Characteristics of bad governance. Restriction on political parties. People are forced to vote for certain candidates whenever elections are held. Opposition parties are allowed to exist. If they exist, they are strictly controlled by the government. Lack of separation of powers. Political power is controlled in the hands of one person or a few people. For instance, the executive can interfere with the operations of the judiciary and the legislature. Lack of press freedom. The press, in bad governance, is controlled by the government and often report favorably on government policies. Opposing or dissenting view are not allowed in government-owned media. Violation of human rights. There is no respect for human rights in bad governance. People who oppose the government can be tortured and detained without trial or can be killed. Judiciary not independent in bad governance. The judiciary is not independent of the executive and the legislature. There is little respect for the rule of law. Political leaders do interfere with court proceedings without being punished by law. This means that those in power do not respect the rule of law and there is no fair trial. Arbitrary arrests. Arbitrary arrests are the arrest or detention of an individual in a case in which there is no likelihood or evidence that they committed a crime against legal statute or in which there has been no proper due process of law. Arbitrary detention is the violation of the right to liberty. It is said to be the arrest and deprivation of liberty of a person. This normally happens to those who are just suspected to be critical of the government. There are secret agents working for government who spy on them. They normally end up living in fear of being arrested. Lack of freedom association and assembly. Voluntary associations such as trade union and non-governmental organization do not operate freely. Those which do not conform to government policies can be banned. Neglect of public welfare. Government leaders do not care for the welfare of the people. There is corruption, nepotism, plunder, patronage, and other forms of abuse of office. The majority of people are languishing in poverty while the few selfish leaders are so rich and enjoying life at its best. Use of force. The government uses force to remain in power and also by using other methods such as constitution amendments and postponement of election dates. Irregular and unfair elections. Elections are not held regularly. If held, they are not free and fair. There is vote rigging. Lack of citizen participation. The government decides for the people. People become servants instead of masters of the government. The government claims to know what good for the people is. People are rarely consulted and their concerns are often ignored.